up. A lot of miles on this truck. Give us just a little luck, and we'll make it to the next show. No, there's no backing up. Down the road is where we're gonna end up. Pour a little something in my cup and we go where the girls all holler and the guys agree that it's gonna get rowdy, and that's fine with me. Yeah, we're gonna get a drink on, party all night long, playing a fast song. Are you with me? Going where the girls are, living like a rock star. Gonna load up and chew whiskey.
Hey folks, I'm Josh Malm, and you're here with Off the Record. I am your fill-in host this week, and we have a very special guest with us, Frank Gutierrez from the company AIM.
Yep, Amplification Interface Module.
Amplification Interface Module. And Frank has come all the way from Spokane, Washington. All right, so we have a lot of information here, but we'll start out with the product specifically that you're looking to explain today is the GA60.
Extreme, yes.
Extreme.
The GA60 Extreme is a 60-watt amplifier. It's actually 4.6 ounces. It has a RIP circuit, which is a regulated impulse power supply that you can go from 9 volts to 24 volts. It's very variable. It also allows you to run on battery power, a battery bank, or with a solar panel. You can literally play music anywhere that your heart desires. It not necessarily has to be a guitar, but you can have any media device or any audio device, and it will multiply the signal and allows you to play 215s, 212s, have a party, go out to the beach, go on a boat, set it up. You can actually have outdoor events with 2 speakers and a tripod, run the battery bank, and literally use wireless microphones. We are 100% battery operated with a solar panel, and the efficiency of this can last you 72 working hours on a battery bank without using the actual solar panel.
That is amazing. You said solar panel, and I just want to slow you down. That was a lot of information right away, so obviously for some of the folks that are tuning in who don't understand a lot of that terminology, 15s, 12s, power banks, 15s are speakers,
yes.
Correct? 15-inch
yes.
speakers, 12-inch speakers. And what you're saying is that this product is a small amplification device that can power up to 16 speakers.
Yes.
In different sizes, different capacities, and that it is battery powered.
Yes.
And that it could also be solar powered.
Yes.
That you can charge it with a solar panel.
Yes.
So let's explain that battery system a little bit with specifically the 9 volts for that.
Yeah. On the unit, let's say you want to play somewhere for about 8 hours, and you're going to be playing in a venue where you have no outlets to be plugging into. This little battery pack right here is 2 9-volt batteries, which it plugs into the unit or the device, and you actually have power to actually play. And you can play for 8 hours constantly, or you can play music, and it will drive, like I mentioned, the 12-inch speakers. It can drive 15-inch speakers, and gives you the portability, in other words, to go anywhere without the reliance of having to deal with a generator or extension cords.
Right. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, 9-volt batteries are, they've been around a long time. I think most people know what a 9-volt battery is. But the solar-powered aspect of it, this here, I'm pretty fascinated by this. This is a solar panel.
Yes.
That obviously you just set it out in the sun, and then it's got a plug in here.
Yes.
That you can recharge that.
Yeah, I'll fill you in on how this works. And on the top, there's a 5-volt USB, so you can charge either a tablet or a phone or any device that runs on 5 volts. And the pigtail here in the back is actually the connection that actually plugs in for a battery bank such as this, which is a 6,000 milliamps, which is about 6 amps of power. It's using a LiPo battery, which is a high energy storage. So it allows you to give plenty of juice. In other words, a lot of power to carry the amplification a lot smoother, easier, without losing power at all. The solar panel is very durable. It's a 20-watt reduced panel and 7 layers of plastic. So it's very durable. I mean, it's not something that's just going to break on you or deteriorate on you.
Right.
So it's a very strong, durable panel. You can literally use this on a boat for the salt water or fresh water. You don't have to worry about it being the sun, tearing it up or something like that. And it actually gives you the power of 12 volts here to charge the battery bank, to sustain the battery bank as you're using the battery bank for the amplifier at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
So endless power, in other words.
Yeah, that's technology. We're getting there. So that's impressive. So you can charge anything from that. It doesn't have to be just one of these products, but you can
Exactly. You can even charge the Gold Rush battery bank.
And this is the battery bank. It's got your little logo on it.
And it's a 10,000 milliamp, 5 volts. Allows the charge to have enough battery bank inside to give you plenty of power for the Gold Rush. And, well, we're going into the Gold Rush right now.
Well, I mean, but yeah, before we move on to that, there's obviously, it's pretty amazing for such small devices with technology, the way it's evolving. There's so much that goes into these devices, but specifically before we go into the Gold Rush, this here, this is the GA60. This is the amplifier.
Yes.
Essentially like a preamp for anything, but it's an actual amplifier that you can power pretty much anything from, as far as speakers. It will have Bluetooth accessibility. So when you're talking about having beach parties or boat parties, obviously the solar power is intended for outdoor use.
Yes.
So this is basically a power source that has a lot of different abilities. We're going to be bringing on a special guest to play guitar through this. So that's one huge aspect of it is the musician-friendly product, but you're trying to express that you also have a wider array of options in terms of what you can power for parties and different needs that people may have, DJs and things like that. And then this power pack is intended to power everything, continue to repower everything.
Yes, and the great feature about this here, the GA60 has so much stored inside of this. It has a speaker protection inside here. In case you have a speaker that's actually failing, it will detect that speaker fail. So when the speaker goes the excursion means when the speaker is going out to its limit. When it goes out to its limit, it turns into different directions because it's looking for the weak point. So when a speaker turns sideways, it rubs the voice coil on the pole. That's causing a short. All amplifiers sees this. And that's why sometimes they go, well, I blew my amplifier. Well, what this does, it senses that. It knows that there's a short or an arc going on inside the voice coil, shuts down to protect the speaker and also at the amp at the same time. So it's got a very, very delicate area, but it's very powerful because it can really detect that. Also, when you bring the ohms too low, if you're running out of its spec, in other words, because it ranges from 4 to 32 ohms, if you were to bring it down to 2 ohms, yeah, you're going to play, it's going to sound, but the moment that you start to strike the sound really powerful, in our term, in the electronic term, we have called is a flat term. It's a DC flat, goes right across. That term is when you actually flatline on the DC current, it picks up that distortion.
Okay.
It recognizes that you are going beyond its scope, and it will clip on you and turn off for a second. that it will let you know that you are going into different or dangerous specs that is
right.
going to cause blowing your speaker, burning it out. So the amp has a protection for both.
Right, okay. Well, that's good to know. And again, for folks at home, an ohm is a, what
the
is an ohm?
resistance. The resistance in the speaker.
Resistance in the speaker. So through the development process, you were consciously trying to think of something that could protect
Yeah.
whatever speakers or other, whatever you're running that through. You want to make sure that it's not going to blow anything.
Which is the same thing as if you were to take that and connect it while you have it on, and you connect it in the back, how the tip of the quarter jack goes into the sleeve, it actually causes a short in that moment.
Right.
So it detects that short, shuts down for a second, allowing you to make that connection.
Do you still get a pop?
You don't get a pop, it just turns off for a second.
Wow.
And then then the sound comes back on.
Okay.
When it sees that there's no longer a short. So that sensor is also built inside.
So how long did it take you to develop?
2.5 years.
2.5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you have an extensive background in music or?
Yeah. I've been doing electronics for 34 years. I graduated with a associate's degree in electrical engineering at 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
And in 2013, I graduated with a bachelor's in information technology. So I grandfathered in on version 4, which was, I was the only one in 2,000 students who actually graduated from the entire course before they were doing concentrations. So I harness both the sound, and the audio. I've been doing car audio for several years where I used to do a lot of stealth. So I've been in the world of music for many years. I've done a lot of restoration for a lot of musicians. Famous musicians such as the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger. I've done Iron Maiden's amp, the Doors keyboard, the 73s. I've done, I just keep on going. So
Did you help Mick Jagger with his appearance?
No, he did that on his own.
He did that on his own? All right, well, that's,
I had nothing to do with that one.
I was going to say, I don't know if you should get that gig again. Well, so I think speaking of music, do you have any specific, like what's your favorite style of music? What's your...
I'm pretty much a diversity as far as the music. I love all different kind of music. Music is an expression that every artist has. And the music is usually projected by how their emotions are. So everyone is interpret, their own kind of style of music. You just have to go beyond what the music is, and you can see behind that what the true person is. So by listening to the music, you're hearing not only the interpretation of the music, but you're getting a feedback of who that person is, the personality of that person.
Exactly.
And you get to enjoy that kind of class of music. So it can either be reggae, jazz, hard rock, classic rock. All the genres are just basically different styles of music. It's just like, which one do you like? So I usually prefer every type because everything has a balance in life to it.
Right. But for these products, your specifically, your kind of mission statement or approach is to keep the quality and the tone and the sort of product safety and the, life expectancy or whatever, as far as like the longevity of the charge or the battery or the power or whatever. You're trying to simplify that while creating a consistent sound or tone for any style of music, any genre. Okay.
You spoke about the spectrum. It's from 20 hertz. It's very low hertz and as far as in frequency. And it ranges from 20 to 22,000 hertz. So the spectrum is wide enough. In other words, if you play more deeper type, like either a bass player, or you can play more in the mid of 200, hertz. So you're going from guitar, or if you want to go higher in that, because of diversity as far as in the spectrum, it's allowing you to play music because it's battery operated, and with the little 4-channel mixer, you can add either a tablet, phone, play the music through there, you don't need your band with you because your recording's on there.
Uh-oh.
And you can literally play music as you are listening to your band going through there.
Right.
And the great feature that I tried to get into this is the practice solo, which a lot of musicians have that downside because they want to play. They really want to hear their music loud. And, you know, sometimes you'll have like mom and pops, or they have their daughters and their wives. They're resting. And the musician wants to play. Or they're on the road and they're at a hotel and they're just doing this. They're just sitting there going, what do I do?
Right.
You know, and here is a product that's going to allow them to actually play anywhere with the headphones on, blast their heads out, let them enjoy the way they want to hear their music to their heart's desire, you know, and they're just harnessing it and they're not disturbing the surrounding.
Exactly. And so that is, before we go segue into the Gold Rush, that's specifically...
In both.
It's in both of those products?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do, just to kind of give people an idea of what we're talking about specifically, is invite a very special local musician, guitar player, to demonstrate these things. And maybe you want to go through a few different styles potentially, and then maybe explain the Gold Rush. And when I come back, we can go into that a little bit more detail, and then. And then I think we're going to have some giveaways happening today as well. As always, PortlandMetroRecords.com is where you can find all this information. But in the meantime, I would like to introduce a very special musician, a local living legend by the name of Will Kinky. And he will demonstrate these products for you. So, looking forward to it.
As you all can hear, this thing sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And I really like how it kind of, like you were saying, it provides a nice spectrum if I kind of... So what can you tell me about it?
Well, I'll tell you, it's 60 watts of power, 4.6 ounces. It's the world's smallest, most powerful amp. It actually works with headphones. It actually works from one speaker up to 16 speakers, as long as the speakers are in 4 to 32 ohms. That's the range between the impedance of actually you're going to be on the speakers. You can work battery power, that you can literally play anywhere, or you can go and work with the AC adapter if you're at home.
Yep.
So,
now, one thing that I was actually just thinking right now that I thought was pretty cool. So let's say, because, you know, I've had this happen to me a couple times where I've been at a gig and I usually play with tube amps and stuff, and tube amps are a little volatile.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're sitting there playing and the tube amp goes out. What are you going to do? You're in trouble. But if you have one of these, you could literally just go right into the board, right? Kind of have it as a backup. Or if you had a speaker cabinet laying around, you could just plug it in. Or I guess you could probably bypass the amp and go straight into the speaker.
Exactly. That's what we did.
Yeah.
We actually did is we had a speaker. We unplugged the factory amp. We plugged in the amplifier on there on 112.
Yep.
Played out in the open, and we recorded that 200 yards away. I mean, literally.
Yep. Well, this thing, we don't want to blast all you people out here, but this thing gets really loud. We're kind of right now. It's probably it's about 25%. So, and it represents the tone real nice, like you said. You got it pretty. I usually kind of most of my amps, I kind of keep it like about right there, and that's.
So right now we're playing with 212s.
Yep.
And it's a ported box. So there's a lot of flexibility as far as the way your tones are playing.
I'm playing through this helix down here on the floor. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a kind of a digital modeling effects chain. And so we have some couple different sounds, a little more common stuff. This is kind of a Marshall sound, kind of for that dirtier sound. We have this Marshall sound here. It's a little cleaner. This one down here, I believe, is even a little quieter and a little cleaner. Not quite sure what this is, but again, it's a kind of a little dirtier sound for kind of more of the hard rock stuff.
You can go one step up on the bank.
Well, I'm a little worried if we're gonna.
No. Then you hit the fender effects.
There you go. That sounds great. So again, this is a little more of a kind of a Fender sound, a little cleaner. Sounds like it's got a little reverb on there. It sounds great.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks
Now,
for
do you notice how the tone actually carries? Because since the amp is picking up those tones, it's holding that tone a little bit longer, and you get to see how it carries, just like a tube amp.
Yeah. It's as far as, and again, is it actually an analog circuit or is it digital?
It's a digital circuit.
Yeah. Sounds really clean though. You don't really notice. Again, a lot of times with the digital stuff, you start to do bends. They start to get harmonically a little weird, and that sounds pretty clear to me. I don't notice anything. I'm sure there's somebody that could go, well, but I don't hear anything.
Well, we start as a digital, and then it ends up analog.
Okay, yeah.
That's why you got you got that end channel, and then you got the push pull.
What's this? Hopefully this isn't going to destroy us. No, it sounds nice. So this is again a little, is that a little too much? Are we good? I can dial it back. There we go. Sounds great. All right, well, thanks for having me today.
No, thank you for playing for us.
The smartest amplifier in the world. You saw it here, folks.
Because this actually gives you, the ability to play anywhere. Because this one has a battery built inside.
Okay.
So you can literally play, and this is your charge port. It's a magnetic charge port. It charges right up on there. So I'll take one out so you can actually see how it actually works. So that's the actual unit. You'll see the front. That's the charge port. And this is the USB cable. So it allows you to actually plug anything that's USB with the magnet tip, and it'll plug right into the unit. That's it. And it charges by the magnetic contact.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about if it got pulled, if it's in your pocket, did it get yanked, did it get bent.
Right.
So I avoided having any kind of contact to break that way.
Brilliant. So this is the GA3 Gold Rush.
Yes. It's 3 watts of power.
3 watts.
Yes.
And the other one was the GA60, which is 60
watts.
60 watts. So this is 3 watts, and essentially a similar product, similar item, but less wattage, but also very good, you were explaining, as far as playing at home, plugging in headphones. You can do that with both, but this is probably a really perfect
solo playing, yeah.
It's pretty ideal because it's 3 watts, and you don't need much more than that.
As a student starting off, you practice, you're hitting the guitar, and sometimes you're playing and you really want to know, hey, am I doing all right? And you can listen to yourself play.
Right.
You're not disturbing anybody in the outside. So, I mean, basically you're going to be playing, and everyone goes beyond, goes doing whatever they're doing, but yet he's listening to it loud.
Yeah.
Because that's what guitar guys like. They like to hear it loud.
Right.
They want to hear their tones.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, for folks at home, if you have an aspiring guitar player who is really wanting to rock hard and loud, a little piece of technology like this, they can plug into it with an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar that has a preamp in it, and then plug headphones in, and they can turn it up, and it can sound as loud as they want it to sound, well, up to a certain extent, but mainly for lead guitar.
Yeah.
If you want to practice and get the sound of a little amp, you got that right here, and you can just play in your headphones, and nobody has to hear anything, because electric guitars don't make a whole lot of sound when they're not plugged into an amplifier.
Right.
And really quick, I just wanted to do just to show that this solar panel here that we've got, the USB plugs in to the top of this, and then this plugs into this here.
You can go camping, charge up the little battery. The battery plays 8 hours, so you can play up to 8 hours. It's 1 hour charge.
1 hour charge.
And you got 8 hours of playing time.
So that's pretty cool. If you're, again, if you have a young child or, a teenager that's really into playing guitar, you definitely want to maintain encouraging them to be practicing, but it can be a bit of a pain if they're trying to go through an amplifier in the house when people are, sleeping, watching TV, or doing anything else. So I think that's great. That's a really amazing little product for that, and can encourage people to continue practicing it at all hours of the day or night. Because I believe we're going to be offering some of these products, and you're going to be giving away a couple of these products. So. Which is very generous and pretty amazing. What
we're going to do is on the email list, the 75 person on the email will win the Gold Rush, the GA3 Gold Rush. And if you're the 100, you will win the GA60 Extreme. So guys, girls, everyone, please, I encourage you to email and hope you guys win.
And that's PortlandMetroRecords.com Go Wireless. Again, the 75th person will win the Gold Rush, the 3-watt amplifier, and then the 100th person will win the G60. Well, Frank, thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh.
It's a pleasure to hear about all of this and learn some things. I've been playing music for a while, but I've learned a lot today. And thanks again to Will Kinky for lending his skills. We will probably have him on again as well, and I look forward to seeing what you're up to next. Thanks again. I'm Josh Malm. This is Off the Record, and we will see you next time. Take care.
No, there's no giving up. No, we're here until the last drop. But she's sure looking hot over there looking at me. Yeah, the dance floor's filling up. Yeah, we're giving them a reason to tear it up. Moving their body to the kick drum. I get a little frisky. The girls all holler, and the guys agree that it's gonna get rowdy. And that's just fine with me. And we're gonna get a drink on, party all night long, playing another fast song. Are you with me? Going where the girls are, living like a rock star. Gonna load up and shoot whiskey.